Self-promotion. One of the things I start out with, briefly, have you heard about the press release thing? It's free. You have formula, you can go and, we sent out about 15 to 20 of them to different, in our area. And we were really fortunate. There's a gallery in Kenosha called Lemon Street Gallery. It's a co-op gallery. When we moved out to Kenosha, we contacted them, made friends, and she goes, you know what, I got all these numbers for press releases. You want them? We said, sure. You can go and ask people around, do you, galleries or organizations like that aren't afraid, to give out that kind of information. You do a press release, try to find out who the art person is that you're actually sending to that magazine or the newspaper. Don't just send this blanket thing to the magazine, because the chances of the right person getting it are, they cut down. Be very specific with it. Make it a little catchy on that front line, so that when they, the first part of that email, so that it grabs them a little bit, like, oh yeah, I do want to read this. Be ready to respond to them if they call you up and ask for anything. Any visuals. They may say, oh, send me some visuals of this show that you're going to be putting on, or you might be sending a press release saying, I just got this giant award from Northern Illinois University, and the thing is, they want to write about that stuff. They're looking for good news, something that's uplifting. They put enough negative stuff in the newspaper every day. They need positive stuff. An artist is one of the things that draws, public interest. People actually do go to those sections. There are the ones that are, refined and educated, and if they're not, they can get educated by reading those parts of the newspaper. Advertising, that's a tough one. I do some advertising. It's expensive. A lot of times it doesn't pay off, but normally there's, you've probably heard rules about advertising that you can't just do it once. You put one ad in the thing, the chances of it doing any good are small. As an example, I advertise in the Guild. Now, I'm not pushing this on anybody. I think for me, it's a good source. This is a couple $1,000s to advertise in, and it's normally, this is the soft cover book, but they make a hardcover book, so it's a coffee table book basically, and it's got every different. It's got two-dimensional art in it, atrium art, glass art. Chuck, you got a question?
I want to know where you can find that book.
Well, you can go to guild.com. Or do you want a phone number? I think I have it. It should be in your pamphlet because I know I sent that to them. They're based out of Madison, but you get besides getting like I say, a full-page ad, something like this. This it's kind of dark to see. This I didn't. This is a big mistake on my part. The bottom wall sculpture I put on there. Even though it looked good when I sent it to them and it printed out, it was a little dark. But so you have to make sure you have a really good digitals, or you can just be. But anyway, first 3 years I advertised in this book, which back then was only cost me about $1,700 for a page. Excuse me. Nothing happened till near the end of the third year. I finally sold like about a $5,000 or $6,000 sculpture, commissioned for a corporation. Well, that paid for the first 3 years. And then the next year, I got something like a $40,000 commission, and then it was a $54,000, a $25,000, and it's added up to about $170,000 right now in that rough area over about a 12, 13-year period. So right now, I roughly have $24,000 at the most invested, and so I have about $150,000 profit because of this advertising in this. Now, they also, if you advertise with them, and they'll give you certain deadlines, but they gave me 1,000 of these tear sheets along with that. Now, these would be expensive to just have made. Not $1,000, not $2,000, but these are valuable. I'll take and make a one-page resume on the back of this. I'll take my resume, take my highest points, put it on here, and when I hand this to a client, they look at that resume and they're going to see, like, I've got 25 public sculptures. I'm going to tell you this. What was it, last year I got the Outstanding Achievement Award from College of Visual Art, Performing Arts at Northern. That was a big deal. I didn't even know they gave out those awards. And, it's something that they give one of those a year, and I was basically stunned when my wife told me. I sat down and thought, what? But for a client to see that, they're like, wow. you know, and all of a sudden it gives you credibility. And so that's what this page is for, is to make you look really good without you having to sit here. You know, one of the good things, I'm getting paid to talk to you, that's so I can come out and say that I did this and I did this without feeling I'm being a bragger. And it is kind of embarrassing in a sense, because then I feel like, gosh, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to talk about yourself to clients and say, you know, I did this, I did this, I did this, but you send this to them or give this to them. And that's something you don't even have to advertise in a book like this. You make up a page like this. It's a great advertising tool. Postcards. I use, you know, there's postcard companies out there that give you great deals. I use Modern Postcard, and you know they have these specials where you get like 500 postcards for $90 or $99 sometimes, or 1,000 of them. I can't remember. They're good deals. This is a bigger one. I do a show called Sofa Chicago. It's a major international show at Navy Pier. So I send out a mailer like this. It's got my work on it and 2 other artists' work that I represent at that show, because I have a sculpture garden also besides being a full-time sculptor. And I'll talk about the gallery in a minute. That's really not my moneymaker at all. But so anyway, postcards are good. You get those out to people. You want to hit your clientele base. You start, you know, develop a mailing list starting now if you don't have one. Every time you make a sale, or every time somebody talks to you that says, man, I love your work, you know, what are you doing? You ask them, would you like to be on a mailing list or email list? You know, actually nowadays it's better if you can get an email list. You know, would you mind if I email you with all the new and upcoming things? You're gonna save yourself a lot of money. So it's not bad, but ask for permission. You know, say, hey, would you like this kind of information on your email? Because right now I send out, when I do a mailing, I'm sending out 1,200 to 1,500 cards minimum. You know, you pay for the cards, pay for the stamps, you take the time to label them. We pay our nephews and nieces to label them now. They work cheap. And they're, you know, they don't think it's cheap. They're really happy to get the money, and they think it's kind of fun. You know, so you need to keep your potential clients seeing your name. And that's why, you know, you want to try getting a press release out in the paper every once in a while. It's free. And you send out postcards every once in a while. If you're going to do, say you're going to be in some great an opening, send out that mailing. Even if, you know, it's like I'm not a big gallery person. I do have gallery. I mean, I go into galleries and that I feel they're necessary. I'm able to sell most of my work direct, but you know, you have to try different things. It's going to work different for everybody.